Today we are going to create a really fun animated collage. This tutorial is beginner friendly. I will talk you through every step of the way, and when you are done you will have this really fun animated collage that you can share on Instagram or with your friends. My name is Kelley Burke. I am a member of the design team at the Pigeon Letters, and I'm sharing video blogs here every month. So let's get started. I am going to show you how I created this collage and talk you through every step so you can create exactly this collage or something a little bit different. This is a variation of it where I used a fun background brush, and I'll tell you more about that. But first we are going to go to Flickr, which has a great vintage photo section. So the website is flickr.com, Flickr.com. And there is a section called the Commons, and if you go to Explore and the Commons, you can search here, and these are photos that are vintage and they have no known copyright restrictions. So there are just lots of fun photos. I found this woman by searching roller skate, I think. Let's try roller skating and see what comes up. Okay. There are all these great images. What's this one? Oh, that one's fun. I'm going to save him for later. Let's go back to the search. See, you can get really distracted by this, but I am going to stay focused and talk you through this. So here is my waitress, and sometimes it'll tell you a little background. This is taken February 2nd, 1939, and she's a roller skating waitress in Miami Beach. So what we're going to do is isolate her from her background and then put her in a collage and then animate it. It might sound intimidating or scary, but it is super fun and it is actually pretty easy. So let's get started. I am going to download this. You always want to download it in its largest possible form. This one is 600 by 475 pixels. We're going to hit download, and then it's going to be in our files unless we save it to the camera roll. So it's right here in our files. So let's open up Procreate, create a new canvas. I am going to do a canvas that I already have set up. It's 2000 by 2000 pixels, and it has an sRGB color palette, which I like to use for animations. Generally, Procreate will default to P3, which has the largest amount of colors, and that's great. But with animations, when you export it, it will limit the amount of colors. So if you don't want to be disappointed by your colors in the end, start with an sRGB color palette. So here we go. What we're going to do here is go to Wrench, Add, and insert a file. And here is our roller skater. And she's pretty small, and I'm going to make her just a little bit bigger here. There's a trick here. So because the photo is small and old, sometimes it's not as sharp as we would like, but Procreate can help us with that. If we go to Wrench, Sharpen, Layer, and then you'll see here there's a little menu popping up at the top. Might be able to see she's getting just a little bit sharper. And this is something you don't want to overdo. I just watch it and see how far I want to go with this. Generally, I stop at about 50%, and that's good. So she's just a little bit sharper. And we are going to use the freehand selection tool to isolate her from her background. And this is the thing we're going to be spending the most time on for this particular animation. After that, it's going to go pretty quick because we're just drawing a couple circles and then animating. So let's go to the freehand selection tool by tapping on the ribbon and making sure you had freehand selected here. And we're going to be tracing with our Apple Pencil or stylus just inside where she is, and just inside like her skin here. That sounds a little weird, but so you get this dashed line, and you want to not include the background. If you do include the background a little bit, you can do a 2-finger tap to undo. And because I'm using that 2-finger tap to undo sometimes here, I am making relatively short strokes here with my Apple Pencil, because if I trace a whole bunch of things and then I want to undo it, I'm undoing a lot of work. And every now and then it's helpful to zoom out and see exactly what it is you are tracing and what you want to leave out. So now we're going down to her apron and then to her legs. If there's a straight line, you can just tap and make a straight line that, like, it'll go from here to here. So that's when there's straight lines, it can speed up your process a little bit. The Commons, where we got this photo, has so many great vintage photos that are really inspiring for making collages, whether you animate them or not. I like to twist around my canvas while I'm going. Just makes it a little bit easier for me. If you don't get it perfect the first time around, part of the process is I go over the photo once it's isolated with a soft airbrush, and that's a default Procreate brush, and that will clean up any jagged edges or places where the background got inside your isolated area. I started doing collages after I took a class from Peggy on Skillshare about collages, and then because I love animation, I added the two things together, and then I was officially obsessed. So this woman, I put her in a bunch of different collages just because she's so fun. And once you isolate someone from the background, like I said, then a lot of the work is done, and then you can just play. I'm not exactly sure how her little cap works here. I'm just going to make my best guess here. I admire her biceps every time I trace them. Here's another area where it's kind of hard to see exactly what's going on, and I'm just doing my best. I mean, obviously it's some kind of like little cup or bowl, and we are almost done. Okay, so now she is entirely outlined. I'm going to do 3 fingers, drag down, and I'm going to hit cut and paste. And so now it looks the same, but we now have 2 layers here. So we have her, our waitress friend, and there we have the background. And I like to take a moment and look at the background to see if there's anything that I might have left out accidentally. And this looks pretty clean. And we don't need this, so I'm going to delete it. And here's our woman. And what I like to do at this point is fill the background with a color that's different from her so we can see more clearly if there's any areas we want to fix. So I am just going to choose a peach color, fill the layer. So here she's isolated from her background. She has a different color behind her. And now we can zoom in and see that we might want to clean up a little of these. You can be, as picky or not as you want to be about these things. You could leave it as is. It's an animation. It's fine. But I do like to clean them up, especially because I'm often saving them to reuse in the future. I'm saving the isolated figure. A lot of times if I really like someone like I like her, I will use her in a bunch of collages. So I'll save her and I'll talk you through that. So we are using the soft airbrush as an eraser, and that is in your airbrushing set from Procreate. So here I'm just erasing away the little bits of gray from the background. So with the inside of her apron string, there's two options. We could erase, or we can go back to the selection tool, freehand, what I'm going to do, and just cut that out. 3-finger drag down, cut and paste, and delete that. And then we can go back in. I'll make my brush eraser a little smaller and erase away the dark bits here. This part looks pretty good. I'm gonna make it a little bigger again. This is a little jagged here, so I'm just going to smooth it out a little. Okay, so it looks pretty good here. I'm noticing that this little bowl or whatever it is not symmetrical, so I'm just going to make it a little bit more symmetrical by erasing off this edge here. Good. That is good. And now if we want to save her, we would want to save her as a PNG. So what you do there is you remove all the other layers below her, you remove the background color layer, and then you get this gray screen. And then when you save her, you are not saving any background with her, so you can put her in another collage. So wrench, share, and PNG, and I am going to save her to my camera roll. So here we have our collage woman, and now we are going to give her a background. I'm going to use a purple color, lavenderish. So I'm on the salmon layer, I'm bringing that back, and I'm filling it with the purple, and that's probably about the size I want her, but I want her to be facing the other way. So I'm on her layer, and I am going to go to this arrow here, and then I'm going to hit flip horizontal. So then she's facing the other way. I want her to be skating in a clockwise fashion. And let's just revisit her real quick so you can see what we're doing here. I'm going to hit play, and we are drawing a circle and then a couple other circles around there, and then animating it. So then we're going to keep copying our woman and just moving her around the frame like that. No worries, I will talk you through every step if this sounds complicated. It's not. Okay. Let's go back to our gallery and back to our roller skater. And I am going to grab an off-white color, and I am going to grab the Pigeon Letters monoline. That's part of the Pigeon Letters ink pack. Let's go to our colored layer. You can do a lavender color. You can use any color you want. I'm on the layer above it. I have a white color. I'm going to hit Edit Shape, Circle, and fill it with that color. And then Procreate will help us get that right in the middle. Once you see those gold lines, you know that it is perfectly lined up. Once you get like a little bullseye kind of thing there. And this circle is a little big, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to go to this arrow and bring it in like that for now. And now I centered it again. So back to the monoline, we are going to draw a thin line around here. Again, it can be a rough circle, and Procreate will make it a perfect circle. And then we're going to duplicate this circle first one time, grab that arrow, and then make sure it's on uniform, bring it in a little bit so we can have like these little, are they called concentric? I'm going to go to that middle circle again, duplicate it, and then make it a little bit bigger. Again, you want to make sure you're on uniform. And let's see how we like that. I like it. So here I'm gonna organize my circles. Maybe I want my biggest one a little bit closer in. So arrow, uniform. Am I on my biggest one? I'm not. I'm gonna bring it just a little bit closer. Yeah, I like that. And then I want to make sure that's centered. Yep. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now that I have everything the way I want it, I'm gonna pinch my outline circles together so they are together. I am going to delete the background because I don't need it. I am going to group my color and my circle and my other circles together in a group, and that's going to be the background of our animation. So I will label that. Good, okay. All right, I want my waitress to be a little bigger. I want her skate to be kicking out of the circle a little bit. I just like the way that looks. So here she is. She looks good. I am going to play with blend modes a little bit for the center circle. I am going to make it the same color as the background and then play with blend modes to get a different color. And I will show you what I mean. So alpha lock on my circle. I'm going to press here so I get that lavender color again. That's a trick. Every time you press that dot, you can go back to the last color. So fill layer, it disappears, but then we can play with blend modes. This screen option I like. And they all do different things. Linear light's kind of fun. I'm just watching to see where the lady seems like she's going to pop. Multiply, darken. I like screen. Vivid light's kind of fun. Let's go back to screen. There's vivid light, there's linear. I'm going to go with linear light for this. And then I'm going to add a layer and I'm going to add a little texture to the background, a little pattern. So I'm going to hit plus, add a layer, and this time I'm going to go to the Pigeon Letters Grit Pack, and there's a fun brush called Stardust here. And I want to go back to my white color. I'm right above the background, and I want to just dust some stardust around her. I like that. This is a really fun brush. I'm going to erase a little bit. I'm going to grab the hard airbrush and just erase a few. Just that one. Okay. And we are ready to start our animation. So what we're going to do here is we are going to go to Wrench, Canvas, toggle Animation Assist on. And now our screen looks a little bit funny, but we will make it look regular again by going to these layers that we've grouped together and toggling the background on. So in order for this to work, everything in the background needs to be together within a group. So this group of background layers corresponds exactly to this frame right here. And then the next frame is of our woman. So the background is going to be holding steady in the background because we have that toggled on. And then the woman is going to be moving around the circle. And I will show you exactly what I mean. So we are going to look at our settings here. I like to bring the onion skin frames down a lot generally. With this one, I kind of want to keep it at 4. Let's do about 4 onion skin frames and the opacity about 40%. And we are going to duplicate this woman and we are going to take the new layer and we are going to spin her around a little bit. And I'm going to move her about a leg's worth each time. Do you see what I mean? So I'm lining up this leg between her other legs. And I'm going to have her keep pretty close to the circle, but sometimes I might have her hop up a little bit, like in the next frame. So, okay, so here she is. Here's our second frame. She moves forward a little bit. We're going to duplicate that second frame and then move her forward a little bit more. I'm going to have her hop up a little bit so she's away from the circle a little bit, so she does a little hop. duplicate her again, grab that arrow, spin her around, and now there's a lot of versions of her and it is getting complicated. So I'm going to go back to settings and I'm going to bring the onion skin frame just down to 1 so we can see the frame that's just right behind her. Okay, so let's just test this and see how it looks. You know, it looks pretty good just like that, but we're going to keep going. She's going to go all the way around the circle. So here's our first frame, second frame, third, fourth, duplicate her again, go to that arrow, grab this little green toggle to move her around. And the skate that I'm connecting, that I'm watching, is this one right here, her first leg. Duplicate again, arrow, move her forward. We can have her hop a little bit there so she's not connected to the ring. Duplicate one more time, grab this arrow, grab the green dot, move her forward. This time I'll have her connect with the circle. And again, this back leg is right in between her other legs, so she'll be moving at a kind of a consistent pace around here. Duplicate the top layer, grab this arrow, grab the green dot, and this will be one of her last rotations, I think. One more time. Duplicate the top one, arrow, green dot, and she'll just be a tiny bit above here. And we are done. So let's hit play. Oh, she's going really fast, and we can fix that. So I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to bring down the frames per second here. And it'll change as it's going here if we hit play. So here it's really slow. So if there's ever anything wrong with an animation, like if it's not quite working, you can bring the speed down really slow, like here to 1 frame per second, so you can see exactly what's going on. We don't obviously want it to be that slow. I'm going to turn the onion skin frames down because we don't need them anymore, but I am going to bring her up in speed. 7. 7's pretty good here. There are different kind of animations. You could do a ping pong animation where she's going back and forth. I mean, that's kind of fun, but it's a totally different look. Instead, I'm going to stick with loop, where she just keeps going around and around her circle. And to export that, we would just go to wrench, share, animated GIF, and then we would hit export. If we wanted to in this thing, we could still adjust the frames per second, but we don't need to do that. So I'm going to hit export and it will go right to my camera roll if I hit save image. So there we go. We have a really fun animation that we can share, and you can use these techniques to do so many fun things. You can go back to Flickr and find another person. It's cool as a still image as well. If you just want, you could save it as a JPEG too. I like it as a still image as well. And if we go to my gallery, I can show you some other collages I've done. I've done a lot of collages lately. Here's our roller skating lady in a different setting. I've tried her in a lot of different settings. I'm not sure. I don't like these as much, but as much as the other ones. But I want to give you different ideas of how you could use a person in different scenarios. Here are more collages. Sometimes I animate them, sometimes I don't. This one I did not. Anyway, if you like this, I have a Skillshare class on animated collages, and you're welcome to check that out. Here's another animated collage. And this woman is from Flickr, again, the Commons. You're looking for something that has no known copyright restrictions, so it'll say it right below the photo here. If you're searching within the Commons, again, explore the Commons, there should be no copyright restrictions among those. I'm just going to show you one more fun animated GIF. I love this woman a lot too. I'm not sure where I got her from. It wasn't the Commons. It could have been Unsplash. That's another great resource for free pictures to use. This graffiti wall is definitely from Unsplash, so check that out as well. So I hope you had fun. I would love to see what you created. Please feel free to tag me on Instagram, Kelley Bren Burke. I'm sure Peggy would love to see what you create as well, so you could tag her at the pigeon letters. And if you like this and you want more, check out my animated collage class on Skillshare. And I will see you next month with another tutorial. Thanks. Bye.